确，不合适。
Everything we discuss is then leaked to the paper. That's not appropriate.
而且我们也不是那样进行的。
And that's not how the way the conversation was
如果
conducted.
有诚心，咱们就用一个互相尊重的态度来进行很好的沟通。
If there is
否则这个结果就不好说了。
If
In
there is
Canada, we
sincerity
believe
on
in
your part,
free and open and frank dialogue, and that is what we will continue to have. We will continue to look to work constructively together, but there will be things we will disagree on, and we will
有
have
一些
to
可以
continue.
建设性，但是
创造条件，创造条件。
Let's create the conditions first.
好，好。
Damn! The body language there, the way that Trudeau scurried off says a lot. What's the quote here? Good times create weak men create bad times create strong men create good times, and then pathetic weasels like Justin Trudeau that are running a totalitarian hellscape up in Canada. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name is Zukradowski here of wearechange.org, and we have a lot of wild and bizarre news to get into today, as of course we want to give you a picture of what's happening not only globally, but also of course internationally here in the United States, where financially things aren't really looking good for everyone. When the corrupted businessmen promised that you will owe nothing, they actually meant it. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more, all on this independent media broadcast, as well as also the very tragic events that unfolded in Poland yesterday that luckily didn't launch us into a full all-out war, even though some actors and nefarious players really tried to make that happen. Lots of things to call out here, especially when it comes to the politicians who have failed us during this very key time, as well as the corporate media that was pushing propaganda that was absolutely not true. Justin Trudeau, by the way, still pushing the propaganda today. So much to discuss. We're going to get into that, plus a lot more. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you can get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And the clip we played in the beginning of this broadcast is, of course, from Bali at the G20 meetings, where the president of China made sure a video camera and translator were there. The translator even moved out of the camera angle so they could get a better shot of this larger confrontation of the Chinese president accusing the Prime Minister of Canada of not being a man of honor, a man of his word, and leaking private conversations to the media that, of course, the two privately had and were supposed to be secret. This as, of course, Justin Trudeau previously praised the government of China and how they could make the economy stop on a dime, essentially also trying to mimic policies by the totalitarian state of China in his own country, Canada, which has recently arrested, prosecuted, and even debanked individuals who criticized his administration, as of course he locked down society, disarmed people, and now the government there is running a government-assisted suicide program that will eliminate the undesirables in the Canadian society. That right there is a blueprint of something that I've seen before historically. Now, who does that? Oh yeah, evil despots. And when we look at this confrontation, it sure does say a lot, as the Daily Mail is saying that the Chinese president humiliated the Prime Minister of Canada. And in other embarrassing news, we have yet another clip of the President of the United States struggling and fighting with stairs. Yes, there's a new video showing the president once again stumbling, not down the stairs, but going up the stairs. And as the President of the United States vigorously takes on stairs, the American people are taking on poverty and economic inequality, as of course the Great Reset Build Back Better policies that have been implemented in tandem by many of the G20 countries following the orders of Klaus Schwab, who's there giving a keynote speech right now, have absolutely wrecked the American economy, where even one of the richest people in the entire world, Jeff Bezos, came out on an interview and said that he's even telling family members and loved ones not to buy new cars, TVs, as he thinks the United States economy is facing a major recession. And he's not wrong, as household debt in America has soared to $16.5 trillion. This as Twitter, Facebook, Meta, and Amazon are firing thousands of workers. Amazon specifically is planning on firing 10,000 plus workers from its larger monopoly shipping establishment, highlighting some bigger financial worries ahead of us. You thought cryptocurrency was going to help you during all of this? Nope. That's because it is involved in statists, scammers, and hacks like SBF, who many people now believe was working with U.S. intelligence agencies in order to pull off his Ponzi scheme, as of course he was throwing tens of millions of dollars and even promised $1 billion to the Democrats that are currently in power. And as people were defrauded, robbed of their money, what's the federal government doing in order to get some kind of retribution here? Well, very bewilderingly, they're kind of forewarning the founder of this company that they're coming after him, as they still haven't come after him, as today we're learning from the Daily Mail that the, quote, FBI is planning to extradite SBF. And why would they be saying this before they actually did this, unless they were trying to give him a warning telling him to escape? Why is this man not in custody? What is he doing here? Well, does this have to do with the protection money that, of course, he gave to the federal government? Well, that's a question that I think is worth asking, as of course the scams and financial worries are affecting everyone, along with the larger supply chain shortages that are affecting predominantly children right now, as there is a major shortage of a major antibiotic, amoxicillin, a common drug that's not available mainly because of restrictions due to previous health policies that actually ended up hurting more people than actually helping them. This, as we're learning today, that some children have to wait 15 hours in the emergency room because of this major supply chain shortage. And as you're being robbed and screwed over by some of the biggest politicians and multinational corporations on this world, also don't forget that your possibility of being screwed over in the streets is also likely, as of course there's just video after video of brazen criminality that has taken over the United States. With the latest video, not surprisingly, coming from San Francisco, where two monsters pistol whipped a wedding photographer for her camera as the bride and groom just watched it happen. Lots of crazy things happening in this world, lots of insanity. How do you protect yourself? Well, that's specifically what we are going to be discussing on LukeUncensored.com, our own quasi-private, not-so-private, secret underground railroad for information that we cannot discuss here on this particular platform. If you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? It's quick, it's easy, it's simple. You press this button, enter your information, you get an email with your login details, you come back here, and you just simply log in. Bada bing, bada boom, and then you have access to videos on this platform that are almost 10 years old. I do a video now almost every single day just for users of this platform. You get 3 masterclasses that you could take individually yourself, and also exclusive merchandise and access to events. The best part of this is the forum that I absolutely love. If you're not on the forum, if you're not communicating, if you're not a part of a group, finding other like-minded individuals, sharing information to help you out, what are you doing? Sign up right now to LukeUncensored.com, as of course there's a lot of things that I wish I could talk about, that I wish I could share my insight on, but I just can't on this platform. I built my own to pay for that infrastructure, to build up this independent media organization. You just have to sign up for less than 50 cents a day. See you there on LukeUncensored.com right after this video, as of course we are still not done and have a lot to discuss when it comes to the tragic, horrible events that unfolded in Poland yesterday that nearly brought us on the brink of another global conflict between the East and the West. Luckily, it was prevented and stopped after a missile landed and killed 2 people in my home country of Poland. Today, we have the NATO chief coming out and saying that this blast was actually caused by a Ukrainian missile and not a Russian missile as previously believed, which would have sparked NATO Article 5 and the larger self-defense pact, which could have started a bigger conflict and war here. The Polish government and the president himself also came out and said that the strike was not a deliberate Russian attack on the country of Poland, with the Polish president also now saying many hours after the incident that this was very likely a missile blast from the Ukrainian air defense and that it was, quote, an unfortunate accident. As of course the attack took place 4 miles from the Ukrainian border, and a driver and a warehouse worker were hit in the middle of a field from this stray rocket, with predominantly this photo coming out of the incident highlighting the larger devastation from this huge blast that took place in Poland. There's also a picture of Russian fragments, which already a lot of internet sleuths were linking back to an air defense system that was paid for by the United States, used, of course, by the Ukrainians. And what we have to take away from this event, especially after it happened, was the immediate response to it. I, of course, turned to the corporate media after getting all the information I could on social media, and I went on Fox, and they had an anchor literally celebrating his own birthday. CNN was talking about January 6th and Donald Trump, and MSNBC was calling for retribution and actions by the United States and NATO that need to immediately happen to punish Russia for this attack, as it's important to note here that the corporate media automatically jumped the gun and started to blame Russia for an event that was still unknown. We didn't know all the details. The smoke didn't settle yet in Poland, but the corporate media automatically started to run with narratives about how Russia was responsible for this. And looking at the way that Russia has been performing in Ukraine, seeing them just open up another battlefront in this conflict absolutely made no sense at all. But that didn't matter to, of course, the corporate media that ran stories and then later edited them without any kind of retraction, spreading disinformation before any investigation was done, and not even officially correcting their previous mistake here. That's right there what you call fake news, which, of course, if we were playing by the same rules, they would have been punished by, of course, the big tech social media, but, of course, they're not. Other individuals who automatically tried to use this event for their own personal benefit was, of course, the president of Ukraine that automatically claimed that this was a Russian missile, even though there was information showing that it wasn't. This, as of course, right after the attack, the president of Ukraine called for the, quote, terrorists, Russians, to be put in their place after this attack, which he categorized as a deliberate action by Russia. These words, these hyperbolic statements were extremely dangerous, as of course many Ukrainian government officials automatically tried to use this event as a major galvanizing event that would have created a global conflict. And Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, still to this day is blaming Russia for this larger attack that was clearly not the responsibility of Russia deliberately doing this. Again, the event yesterday was very unfortunate, but it was also very dangerous. The life loss is tragic, but it's tragic just like all the life loss during war, which is absolutely idiotic in my own personal opinion and perspective. As again, we have to understand, we are very close to an entire global conflict that risks the entirety of human civilization, and it could be an accident, which, again, people need to understand here, routinely happens, especially when it comes to bureaucracies, governments, and militaries. You look at the way that the DMV runs. The same people that run the DMV are running the military. There's a lot of incompetent people when it comes to government bureaucracies. Those same people are the ones with their finger on the button and could legitimately make a mistake that could trigger a full, all-out global conflict and war. And all it could take is one exercise going wrong, one button being pushed wrong, one miscalculation, and an attack could happen that could spark this insanity that sadly some people are still waiting for desperately to happen in order to justify their larger perversion for war. This needs to stop more than ever. This situation, this larger proxy war between the East and the West using Ukraine as a battering ram is not helping anyone. And as the conflict naturally subsides because of the cold weather and winter, we still have to understand these attacks could escalate at any moment, at any time. As of course, even just moments ago, Ukraine just blew a Russian oil depot inside of Russia, 190 miles away from Moscow, using a drone strike. This says, of course, Russia has been predominantly attacking the energy infrastructure of Ukraine, going after the resources they are trying to, of course, to make Ukraine suffer a very harsh winter. A harsh winter that, because of this conflict, could be coming your way, especially if you're in Europe. A harsh winter that, of course, will be affecting global food supply chains and everything and everyone else, causing utter distraction and havoc, not just in Ukraine, not just for the poor people there, for the poor people everywhere that are going to be more predominantly affected by this than anyone else. That's what I think. You think I'm wrong? Let me know why down in the comment section below. I got one more video coming your way on LukeUncensored.com. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org. See you right now on LukeUncensored.com.